We had visual effects companies in Sydney and in the US. Mannix is the main company out of San Francisco, but we had two companies, Animal Logic and D-Film, in Sydney that did a significant amount of visual effects.
Mannix, I gave almost all the creature work went there, and the bullet time type stuff. Animal Logic, I gave them the big climactic code hallway and like the exploding agent. D-Film tended to do difficult compositing. Things like when Neo jumps off the skyscraper and they did the helicopter crash and things of that nature.
Early on, the studio tried to get us to take out the helicopter scene. They thought we didn't need to add that as well. And of course, we were passionate about the whole sequence. They eventually agreed.
Well, the helicopter crash is, I guess, one of the big money shots for the film because it's just so outrageously complex and so just visually intense that it's really trying to be the definitive action sequence, or at least that's our interpretation of it. So the combination of miniatures with live action, with stunts, with CGI, it's a very big sequence.
We were very specific, and we wanted the glass to explode in sort of an ever-expanding circle, and to actually figure out how to make the glass do that, and to figure out basically what glass to use and what explosives to use probably took 3 months of heavy-duty research.
This was basically concentric rings put behind the glass with pyro charges that were all triggered to a certain timing. We built a 25-foot square glass wall to scale of these windows. We built a quarter-scale helicopter with its blades and was mounted to a large crane arm. Oh, yes.
Oh, there's bits there. Oh, yes.
That was the very first thing that we started doing in 1996, and that was one of the last 4 shots that we finished in the movie. And you're working the entire time towards making it perfect, and all the little pieces, there are a million little pieces that were invented to make that make sense. We had virtual backgrounds, which were ways of literally photographing the real world with still cameras and extracting from the stills both shape and texture, and then making a CG construction out of that.
Once we've reconstructed it, now we can move your virtual CG camera around anywhere in that set. It's used to basically put together backgrounds for shots where we could never have conceivably shot it with a camera. You know, if you'd have done this with a camera, you'd have seen camera track, rails, rig, crew, people. This allows us to go in there, like take the stills when the set's empty, and then build the whole set artificially, in fact. And you get a photorealistic set.
Everything begins with a simulation, and all the math for how to shoot it works backwards from there. In this particular rig, there are 120 cameras and 2 motion picture cameras set up. We analyze what real frames we have, and we can create new frames of moments in between the captured frames to make moves longer, or stretch them out, or do time compression effects. These are like tests trying to find the texture of the pod. The whole sort of like look of a lot of the computer graphic creatures and environments is based on undersea life. They're much more light absorbing and scattery light and wild colors and things like that, which no other creatures to date really have this kind of quality. Everything else is out in the sun or in like, you know, whatever, normal lighting, traditional lighting. How about, you got like, let's see some pods. This is all computer graphics, just like we were talking, the babies grow inside there. And it's sort of like Big Daddy Roth meets Jacques Cousteau. Just bring the animation until like there, yeah, then cut it off. Okay. So you see, it's all fake. It's no real babies. Totally harmless.